Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. Today we've got a special video. We're less than a week away from the 2024 NBA Draft. The Knicks currently hold the 25th and 26th overall picks, which means they could stand pat and just pick two players, because right now we definitely need players. We've got multiple free agents that are heading into the market, testing it. OG, Hartenstein, Alec Burks, for example, on the screen right there as he knocks down a corner three ball. We need players, so if the Knicks were to just make two picks, I wouldn't hate it at all. There's also been speculation that the Knicks could trade a first-round pick for a player, or they could trade both and even move up to potentially 17, 18 type of range and get their guy. I have no idea what's going to happen, but what I do know is that in this video, we're going to talk about the perfect potential option for the Knicks at that 25th or 26th overall pick, and his name is Ryan Dunn out of Virginia. He's 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan, incredible defender. He's widely regarded as the best overall defender in terms of versatility in this draft. And you look at ESPN draft analyst Jeremy Woo, he had this to say about Dunn and the Knicks, quote, "The Knicks are among the teams believed to be highest on Dunn long-term due to his defensive versatility and knack for creating turnovers and blocking shots on the wing. His poor jump shooting and wavering confidence as a scorer will be something he'll have to work to overcome, but he has showcased his strengths on the workout circuit and has left room for optimism around his long-term chances of offensive growth," end quote. The reason why I like Dunn is because, first of all, he's a New York native. Second of all, 6'8", 7'1" wingspan. Third of all, good defender. Fourth of all, he's just 21 years old. I believe he'll be 22 in January. Very young. The Knicks also don't need any rookies to contribute right now. Assuming we bring back Hartenstein and OG, which would be the best case scenario, we've got Brunson, Devo, OG, Randall, and Hartenstein. That's 5 players. McBride 6, Hart 7, Mitchell Robinson's 8. And that's it, right? So we have already right there have 8 guys that are 100% going to be a part of our rotation. And then, of course, we're talking about potentially Bojan Bogdanovic. I'll throw him into there as well because from what I have read and seen, it's looking like the Knicks are going to pick up, or at least not pick up, but guarantee his contract. So that would be, again, that's 9 players right there. Precious Achiuwa is a restricted free agent. Alec Burks is an unrestricted free agent. Shake Milton, I don't think is going to be a part of rotation. We'll probably end up signing someone, or hey, one of these rookies or both of these rookies will be at the end of our rotation. So regardless of what we do, the Knicks are going to be in a very good situation. We don't need to draft someone who can immediately come in and make an impact, which means that we can sort of bet on the potential of a Dunn, for example, a guy who, if he figures out the offensive side of the ball, could be an absolute game changer, right? I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but he could be a Herb Jones type of player. He could be, best case scenario, as a Sean Marion type of player. And if the Knicks are able to get that at the 25th overall pick, then I don't think anyone would be complaining about that. That would be amazing. Dunn averaged 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2.3 blocks, and 1.3 steals in 27 minutes per game this season. He hit just 7 of his 35 threes and 53% of his free throws. But Dunn isn't necessarily an overall bad offensive player because he's active in transition. He's insanely athletic. We know he can get into the passing lanes. He can steal the ball, which is going to create open, chances, of course, offensively. He hustles, dives for loose balls. He contributes on the offensive glass. He's a sharp cutter and an effective finisher around the rim. Being able to cut is something that the Knicks are going to need because Josh Hart coming off the bench, potentially with Dunn, we know he likes to pass it, and Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein, these guys definitely are looking for the back door. And if he were to replace OG potentially someday, or maybe he gets injured, Randall and Brunson, these guys are going to be commanding double teams, and you've got to be able to cut and be smart, right? That's the thing about how Dunn plays, is he's a very highly intelligent player, which you have to be to play for the Knicks because this team just loves to move the ball, and they're not the best offensive team. So the Knicks have to get rebounds on the glass. They have to pass the ball. And don't get me wrong, the Knicks have shooters, right? The Knicks have plenty of shooters on this team, but their offense is usually generated from second chance points or, of course, from the defensive end. So I think Dunn would be a good fit. There was an NBA executive that spoke out about Dunn saying that he's got the defensive side of the ball figured out, which is a massive deal. We're talking about the best defender in the draft, player who's 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan. He plays even above that. Because of his versatility defense, how young he is, he fits into the Knicks' sort of culture and what they're building and what they have built to this point. He's a guy who was a walk-on. Virginia didn't have any scholarships to give out, so Dunn ends up walking onto the team. He makes it. He plays about 13 minutes a game his freshman season, plays 27 minutes a game in his sophomore season, and here he is declaring for the draft. He could be a second-round pick, or he could be picked at 25 to the Knicks. Maybe he goes before that. Who really knows? But you're betting on Dunn figuring things out versus what you see right now, because I remember Miles McBride was a guy that the Knicks got in the second round, and he definitely had the potential, but the Knicks bet on his ability, and now they have one of the cheapest, most valuable contracts in all of basketball. What is it, like 3-year, $18 million or something like that? McBride shot 40% from three last season. He was a very efficient and effective scorer in the playoffs for us. When he started, he was even better. So you have a guy who you throw him into the starting lineup. Okay, let's replace Jalen Brunson. Let's replace Dante DiVincenzo or Josh Hart. And he elevates his game. In the playoffs, McBride was fantastic. Game 7 against the Pacers was not at his best, was pretty poor in that. But one game doesn't take away from the other, 12 games that the Knicks played prior to that. I like Miles McBride a lot. I like him so much to the point that I would not be willing to include him in a trade for Kevin Durant, which I said in my video yesterday. I wouldn't mind trading Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle for Kevin Durant. It's Kevin freaking Durant, guy who averaged 27 on 53-40 splits. But you ask me to trade Miles McBride, I'm not doing it, because McBride's the type of guy that, again, he's coming off of our bench on a cheap deal. Randle's getting extended. Brunson's getting extended. OG's getting paid. Isaiah Hartenstein's getting paid. We need players that are on cheap, friendly deals that can ball and hoop, because we can't just go out there and sign a guy to a veteran minimum contract and expect him to do something. We got lucky with how much did Alec Burks even make? I don't really know how much Burks was on, but for example, right, like Alec Burks is the type of guy who's about to get paid. He's no way he's coming back to the Knicks on a minimum contract after what he did in the playoffs and what he's capable of. A guy who's played for 7, 8 different teams. So that's my point, is you just don't find players like Alec Burks on minimum contracts. It's not going to happen unless you're LeBron, Anthony Davis, right, and the Lakers, and teams are just chasing a ring or something like that. But even at this point, the Lakers are not even close to the level of the Knicks. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? I just mean like the popularity. But I'm looking at Dunn. He made 1 or fewer field goals in 6 different games last season, despite playing in 20 or more minutes in all of those. So you can see he's not a scorer. But the Knicks don't need him to be a scorer. They need him to defend and rebound and hustle. And in the next couple of seasons, the Knicks are saying if Dunn ends up working on his game, if he can shoot off the dribble, he can knock down corner threes, or just do one of those, just contribute some way offensively to where he's not a liability, then the sky's going to be the limit for him, because we can't just act like Dunn, even if he doesn't figure out his offense, isn't going to be valuable to the Knicks. He's a guy that you can throw on somebody's best player and have him impact it. There's a stat that I read that's just ridiculous. So through 2/3 of the way through the 2023-24 college basketball season last year, Dunn was allowing 3.7 points per game on 25.7% shooting. His 83.3 defensive rating led the ACC by a wide margin. Now, the reason why I said 2/3 of the way was because that's all I could find. I didn't find the full season. I don't expect him to hold an NBA player, a very good first or second option at that. But Dunn just making an impact and making it difficult on someone could be the difference, right? Let's say we go up against the Boston Celtics. Okay, we've got Dunn, we've got OG to throw at Tatum and Brown, Derek White. Hell, even a Kristaps Porzingis with that 7'1" wingspan. Make it tough and make him work. Be physical. Obviously, Dunn would need to put on a lot more weight and mass to be able to even defend a Kristaps Porzingis. I know Porzingis isn't the biggest guy, but his size and things like that. But Dunn is 21. I'm talking about in the next couple of seasons. He's athletic, so at the very minimum, he can cut, can catch lobs, can get rebounds offensively. Josh Hart, look what he does rebounding. He's 6'4". Imagine Josh Hart 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan, right? I know Josh Hart's the best defensive rebounding guard in the league. Probably best rebounding guard overall. I love Josh Hart, man. Obviously, he's one of my favorite Knicks on the team. Overall, what will the Knicks do? Rival teams expect them to trade one of these picks in the 20s. It's possible that another team trades for that 25th pick and takes Dunn. But if the Knicks truly do like him, and they've worked him out, just take him. But if, hey, maybe the Knicks are like, we want to get this guy at all costs, let's move up to 18 and get him, right? If it were up to me right now, if I was a betting man, I would bet on the Knicks trading one of these picks. I don't know if they're going to trade up, but but I do think the Knicks will trade one of these picks. Because the Knicks have so many picks. We have 8 eligible first-round picks to trade. But if the Knicks were to trade picks, it should be for a star. But right now, we're looking at Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray. I don't think any of those guys are going to thread the needle. So the Knicks should just take whoever they think has the most upside and roll with it.